I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 467 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, May 30th, 2025. It's your truly the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez, getting ready to rock and roll here on this Friday morning. We got Friday Night SmackDown tonight, taking place in Knoxville, Tennessee, and there's a lot to discuss. So this would be the 7th wrestling show that I've transcribed in 9 days, and I haven't felt this great of a work week since before I got furloughed, when I was covering like 10 shows a week. But it's been very nice. The grind has been busy. I know there's been a lot of wrestling content consumed from pay-per-views and other companies and in between, but glad to say that here we are, and things are kicking full cylinder. May's coming to an end, heading into June. June's probably going to be the busiest month that I have out of this calendar year, maybe besides August. But that's a good thing, because the more work I get, the closer and closer I get to my goal. So I'm in good spirits, and I appreciate each and every single one of you for hanging out with us. This is episode 467 of the Hoots Podcast. We're on our road to 500 episodes, which will be either the beginning part of January of 2026. So as we're on our final chapter here of the podcast, these weeks are going by fast. So 33 more episodes, but we appreciate the support. And before we get to what's going on with the podcast today, do got a couple plugs that I want to make. For those who don't know and have maybe been looking for our podcast, I don't want you to worry. You can still find the Hoots Podcast anywhere you get your podcast from. It's still on Spotify. Yes, I decided to take the podcast off of Spotify for creators because they were not properly compensating us for the show and the listenership that we're getting on their platform. I recently moved the podcast over to a place called Odyssey Creator Lab, and Odyssey is a really big corporation that really finances a lot of the CBS sports radio stations and podcasts and stuff like that. And even before we decided to make that change, I noticed that this podcast was on Odyssey, and it was really cool. I'm like, oh, this is wild. Like, this is the same corporation that I've done job interviews before at 670 The Score, and this is pretty cool. It's kind of like a full circle type of thing for me, and I had a Zoom meeting with the people at Odyssey the other day, and it looks like we're going to be right on track to be properly compensated for this show, and it's long overdue. I want to give shout out to Madison, Kale, and Luke, the main people in the. I got a chance to talk to the main people in their board of directors and their tech guy and stuff, and I got a glimpse of what's going on with the show and how we're getting our downloads and everything else. It was a very interesting Zoom meeting that I had the other day, and it wasn't like an interview or anything. They just wanted to know what's going on with the podcast. So all that being said, they said they're excited to have me, and they were impressed with the amount of listenership that we've been getting for being a new show on their platform. And I'm just beyond grateful, and I'm very excited. This could come at a better time, but you got to make the best out of these situations, and I'm very grateful for the people at Odyssey Creative Lab for having us. And I don't want you guys to worry. You can still find the Hoots Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all our same platforms. You can just type it in, and we still have the same RSS feed, which is important. That's the way we can distribute this podcast out to you guys anywhere you listen to the show. So all I can say going forward is to continue supporting it and subscribing to the show. I don't have to tell you not to only listen to the show specifically on Spotify, so that shit help matters. But the best way to support this podcast is to listen to it anywhere you get your podcast from. Maybe help. I don't know if like I don't think this platform is only specific to Odyssey. So, anyways, the best way to support the show, especially going forward, is to just continue to listen to it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the podcast anywhere you are using your podcast. And on the YouTube side, if you're watching us right now, hit that like button and smash the subscribe button because we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If we get 1,000 subscribers, I become a YouTube partner with YouTube, basically. So that would really help out the podcast as well. And again, I can't say enough. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me for all these years. To think that this show has already been past 9 years, and 2026 will be the end, and having the final episode before our 10th year anniversary is just crazy. But irregardless of how long these episodes go, how you feel about the show itself, all the changes throughout the years, I know there's still a lot of people that have been rocking with us since day one, and I haven't forgot that, and I know who you are, and I appreciate that. As the next couple months go by, I would like to see if I could maybe do some more interviews on the podcast for you guys. Maybe bring some of my old friends back on the show, like Andrew Baydala. I haven't had a chance to talk shop with him for a very long time. My other mentor, Steve Mielhausen, it would be nice to have another conversation with him. Maybe my guy Jonathan Hood from ESPN 1000. I would like to do some more interviews, maybe get to meet some new people, but if you have any suggestions for who you would like to hear on the podcast, hit me up at Twitter or X at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to follow me on Instagram if you like at Joshie Lopez Music. Also, I have my wrestling transcripts, which you can find each and every single week in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com. That's correct. I cover every televised WWE event from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Evolve, and all corresponding premium live events like we just had this past Sunday with NXT Battleground. And like I told you guys, especially starting next week, it's gonna be wild because I got Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank to do next Saturday, not this Saturday, but the week after. So that's gonna be June 7th. And then we have the United Champions show from Saudi Arabia on June 28th. So it's going to be a very good month work-wise. And I'm in good spirits. I really am. As a content creator, we all could be burned out for different reasons. Personal challenges, family drama, other work, stressing out, not having enough time to ourselves, mental health. There's so many different things that could cause a content creator to be stressed out and stuff like that. And it's the last thing I'm gonna stress myself out going forward is the stupidity that I see on X, especially from the IWC. It just is getting dumber and dumber as the weeks go by. So, I saw this clip last night where Dave Meltzer went on his radio show and said that he has an issue with Lola Vice being on the poster for the Worlds Collide show because she's not Mexican. Dude, this show is called Worlds Collide. It's not mutually exclusive just because WWE is facing a promotion from Mexico. They never said it's WWE versus Mexico. What are we doing here? The guy sounds stupider as the days go by, man. Of all things to whine and bitch about, make a mountain out of a molehill out of that. And then he says this week, oh yeah, Tony Khan is the Booker of the Year so far, halfway through 2025. Right. keep telling yourself that. One decent storyline with MJF and the Hurt Business and Timeless Tony Storm being a unicorn. Yeah, that makes you the Booker of the Year. Awesome. Keep telling yourself that. They barely can even scratch 500,000 viewers a week, but you want to tell me that he's the Booker of the Year. Right. And that's really the shame of it. Like, I want to enjoy AEW just as much as anybody else. I never wish death on it. I don't want it to fail, believe it or not. People who think that I hate AEW or anything like that, I never hated AEW. What I hate is the hyperbole that gets attached with AEW, because anytime they start gaining momentum, my colleagues in the wrestling media with blue check marks start acting like this promotion's like WCW in the mid-90s when they got into their 83 weeks hot streak. And it's just not true. I want to enjoy the product, but I don't need to have people tell me that, oh, this is the second coming of WCW. Oh, WWE's scared anytime AEW has a good show. And anytime they have a good episode on Dynamite or Collision or whatever, oh, this is the greatest Dynamite of all time. Oh, this is the greatest Collision of all time. Oh, this is the greatest string of matches of all time. It's off-putting. It's a bit much, to be honest with you. Just with WWE, we all have our qualms about it, and it's not perfect there either. But it's like, you can't tell me with a straight face and look at me in my eyes and tell me that there's not an agenda with the wrestling media when it comes to AEW, because even when they have good shows, the wrestling media like makes it out like it's WrestleMania 17 every time. They just had Double or Nothing this past Sunday. I couldn't watch it live because I was doing the NXT Battleground show. And from what I saw the coming days after, like, there's things that I liked. Okada and Mike Bailey was good. Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter was good. That's another thing with the hyperbole stuff too. Oh my God, Mercedes Moné is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Just because she's got a bunch of money and tells Tony Khan that she never wants to lose a match, because that's probably the main reason why she left WWE in the first place. Like, let's call a spade here. I enjoy her work. She's a good wrestler. She's a good person. She's great to look at on my TV screen. But the greatest thing since sliced bread? Alright. You keep telling yourself that. But going back to the Meltzer stuff, like, of all these to complain about, oh, Lola Loy shouldn't be in the poster for World's Gala because she's Cuban, she's not Mexican. That's so stupid, man. Speaking of 83 weeks and Meltzer and WCW, here I am as the professional broadcast here, segueing to this piece of audio that I wanted to play for you guys this week. And it comes from Eric Bischoff from the aforementioned 83 Weeks podcast. You think I have my negative opinions on Dave Meltzer? Let's hear what Bischoff has to say.
He's propaganda. He's not news. And this is a perfect example of it. Dave thinks that people talk to him are his friends. He's a useful idiot. He doesn't have any friends. Less than people like him. Pond scum generally aggregates in a small pond. It is, but I'm just giving my opinion. He is pond scum. He's wrestling propaganda. And he's able to milk money out of people doing it. And I just encourage people to ignore someone like Dave Meltzer. There's some great people out there. Mike Johnson, Dave Scheer. I've mentioned it before. There's some great coverage going on out there, folks. Credible coverage. If you really want to know what's going on. But, Dave got there first. all of it is designed to make him feel important. And I think he's too stupid, or just doesn't care. I don't think he even understands what a fool he makes of himself when he comes up with commentary like this. It's just, it is what it is. The people that he thinks are his friends are smart enough to use him because they know something that Dave doesn't know. They know that if they just give him a cookie and pat him on the head and acknowledge him, they'll do whatever they want. They'll write whatever they want.
Well,
He won't source it. He won't check it out. He won't challenge it. If you give him a cookie and pat him on the head and say, hey, Dave, here's a scoop. Gone. It's out there. He's a useful idiot in the truest definition of the term.
Eric Bischoff for the 83 Weeks podcast. Before we get to our first segment on the show, before we wrap up this monologue, I made a promise to everybody that follows me on X that I was going to share you a match card that I made for Evolution 2. It was announced this week that Evolution 2 will be taking place on July 13th for the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the all-women's pay-per-view event. It's the second time of this, Evolution 2. The first one was back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I covered that event. These are always cool events to cover. Like, I had the honor of getting to cover both Mae Young Classics, like the NXT UK Women's Championship Tournament. I covered that too. Getting the opportunity to cover like all female events are great because, especially in this era of professional wrestling, there's just a lot of great female wrestlers out there, and they deserve the spotlight on their own accord. And I brought this up on the podcast before. Like, I think, it's not even a sexist thing. I think there is a way you can have an all-women's weekly TV show if that's what you want to do. But we're having this event coming up on July 13th, and we'll see what the demand is out there for to make this an annual thing. But I'm glad that they're doing this, and this should be a lot of fun. So I made this promise on X that I have a card for you. These are not spoilers. I don't have any contacts in WWE. I'm not going to tell you that I have source is. But these are just general feelings of how I see things going on with the product at the moment and matches that I would like to see on the show. So I have 10 matches here. Love to get your thoughts on it. Hit me up at the Hoots Podcast. Let me know what you think about my Evolution 2 card. And it goes as follows. Starting off first, Lyra Valkyria puts her Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line against Roxanne Perez. We have the Chelsea Green Invitational, which will be accepted by Nikki Bella. From there, we'll have a fatal four-way match for the NXT Women's North American Championship as Sol Ruka takes on Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, and Zarya. Next, a grudge match features Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss from SmackDown. Speaking of SmackDown, we'll have Jade Cargill and Naomi, where they finish their feud in a last woman standing match. From there, we have a fatal four-way match for the WWE Women's Championship. It's Tiffany Stratton against It's Tiffany Stratton against Bianca Belair, Jordan Grace, and Julia. Match 7 will be another four-way match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. So we have we have 3 four-way matches. I wanted to make sure we get a lot of people on this card. But the 7th match here is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for their Women's Tag Team titles on the line against Natalya and Maxine Dupree. Meechin and B-Fab and Fatal Influence. JC Jane puts her NXT Women's Championship on the line against Lola Vice. Becky Lynch against Bayley as a special grudge match. And then my main event for Evolution 2 would be Io Sky against Rhea Ripley against Stephanie Vaquer in a triple threat match for the WWE Women's World Championship. So, that is my card for Evolution 2. I'd love to get your thoughts. Starting things off with a good rivalry for the NXT days, I think would be awesome, and I think Lyra and Roxanne will set the tone tonight for that. And we'll get in on some big marquee matches here, but I like how this was mapped out. I probably spent like maybe 15, 20 minutes on this, but I think this is a fair enough card for everybody. If you want me to, you know, let me run down the card again for you guys really quick before we go to the next segment here. So it's Live Valkyria putting her Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line against Roxanne Perez in the opener. Chelsea Green Invitational accepted by Nikki Bella is match 2. Match 3, first of 3 Fatal 4-Way matches is Soruka, Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, and Zarya for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Charlotte Flair against Alexa Bliss. Jade Cargill against Naomi in the last women's standing match. Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair, Jordan Grace, and Julia for the WWE Women's Championship. Judgment Day against Natalia and Maxine, Meechin and B-Fab and Fatal Influence. JC Jade against Lola Vice for the NXT Women's Championship. Becky Lynch against Bayley, and the main event is Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Stephanie Vaquer for the WWE Women's World Championship. But I don't know, that is going to put a rib on the bow on this monologue this week, a little longer than usual, but lots of stuff to discuss about. I hope I'd love to get your thoughts on the card that I mapped out for this Evolution show. And when we come back, I'm gonna do this week in WWE a little different. I'm gonna kind of I won't say that I'm I wouldn't say like I'm like speed diving through this. I want to do like kind of like a PTI type of thing where I go faster with certain times, so I make sure that I don't leave no stone unturned. There's a lot to discuss from WWE this past week, but I don't want to make this segment another 40 minutes or something like that because we got a lot of questions in the back porch Q&A session, and I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. But anyways, this is the monologue. Hope you guys enjoyed the card, and like I said earlier, make sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube, and continue to support the podcast. And when we come back, we'll do This Week in WWE and answer your questions in the back porch Q&A session right here on episode 467 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Alright guys, welcome back to the Hoots Podcast. Here time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. Let's start this off in a quick and fashion style here. We'll start off as we usually do with SmackDown from this past week. SmackDown kicked things off with a promo segment with Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair. And, you know, it's great to have Alexa Bliss back on our TV screens. Obviously great to look at, but also she's always been so underrated when it comes to microphone work and everything like that, and her promos. And I really like this segment with Tiffany and Alexa and Charlotte. And, you know, Tiffany brought up the good point, like, Charlotte, like, you know, you're the one coming at me for cashing my Money in the Bank briefcase, but here we are standing trying to qualify for a women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. And and Charlotte's like, oh, yeah, you got a good point. And Charlotte's here is like, well, when I want something, I just go and take it. I don't sit and wait for it, right? And then Tiffany's like, you know what? You two are just kind of too vintage for me, so so I thought that was a good line too. I don't know. I think there's like something there. You could have maybe a match with Tiffany Stratton and Alexa Bliss down the road somewhere, whatever PLE it is. I wouldn't mind that feud, to be honest with you. I'm more intrigued right now with this dynamic with Alexa and Charlotte Flair and what I'm seeing between those two, and I just like the dynamic of where this is going. And honestly, with SmackDown tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if they have a promo segment with each other. You know, I know Alexa's already qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but from what I've seen so far between Alexa and Charlotte, I like what I see, and that's why I put them on that fake demo card for Evolution 2. By the way, if that's the exact card, I should get some royalties for that. I'm just saying. But so that was that. Julia qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match because she defeated Charlotte Flair and Zelina Vega following that segment. From there, we had the men's qualifier with Aleister Black, Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight. LA Knight picked up the victory there. Stole the victory from Aleister Black, so it doesn't make Aleister look bad. I will say this one thing for SmackDown: this stuff with Melo and Miz needs to stop. It's not going anywhere, and the Miz is dropping Melo's stock. To be honest with you, it's great to have Miz on TV, but that's not the place for it. So that was that. R-Truth's promo going into Saturday night's main event was good. The stuff with the Bloodline is still entertaining with Jacob Fatu. They had Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo taking on Ray Phoenix and Jimmy. And if you look at that match on paper, you're like, oh, this is a shoulder shrug TV match. But this match was freaking sick. A very, very good match. And then from how we closed out SmackDown this past Friday, we had the Street Profits against Fraxton for the tag team titles. DIY, again, trying to make everything about themselves, had to come down and interfere, but the Street Profits were about to put away Fraxton. The lights go out in the building, and the White Six appear. And this is the White's first appearance in a while. I think there's a couple injuries amongst certain members of the group. And we had not Lyra Valkyrie, what am I talking about? We had Nikki Cross out there. She goes after Candice LeRae. So the crowd goes insane. This is a special moment. This is, them coming back on Bray Wyatt's birthday. Happy belated heavenly birthday to Bray Wyatt. We all miss him. So it was a cool moment to close out SmackDown from there. From there, I'd like to talk really quick about the updated matches that we have for Money in the Bank at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. So right now for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, we got Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins. We have two more qualifying matches to be determined. Amongst tonight, we have Jacob Fatu against Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. That's one for the men's side, so that'll happen tonight on SmackDown. And then also for the women's side, we need two more qualifiers. We'll have another set of qualifying matches on Monday for Raw, but the other female qualifying match tonight is Jay Cargill against Nia Jax against Naomi. That's going to be a very good match. But speaking of that women's Money in the Bank ladder match, we have Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, and Julia. That's a stacked field. This next match was made official from Saturday night's main event. It's John Cena and Logan Paul taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. The crowd would be hot for that match. And then the match that was just made official this past Monday Night Raw is the last chance match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. It's Lyra Valkyria taking on Becky Lynch. We have the added stipulation: if Lyra loses, she'll be forced to raise Becky Lynch's hand and recognize her as a better woman. If Becky loses, she'll no longer challenge for the IC title as long as Lyra is the champion. I guess we can talk about that now. I like these stipulations here, and in the way this is a good lead way to have Bayley come back and screw Becky Lynch over. I don't think this is some aforementioned conclusion that Becky Lynch is gonna steal or snag the IC title away from Lyra Valkyria. If anything, this is more of a, hey, you know what? Bayley's gonna come back and get her revenge on Becky Lynch. So we get a barn burner again with Becky and Lyra. They got great chemistry. I can see these two fight each other a gazillion times and never be bored with it. Their promo segment on Raw again this week was very good. So some good stuff there. Let's talk about Saturday night's main event, shall we? We started off with the CM Punk Sami Zayn tag match against Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Fun energy. Before I get into the match portion, the fact that I need to mention this is just embarrassing in how little attention span is amongst wrestling fans in 2025. When a televised live show is on NBC. We're not talking about USA Network. We're not talking about Sci-Fi. We're not talking about any corresponding channels that are under the NBC Universal orbit. When you're having a live event on NBC, there's going to be commercials. You're not going to have picture-in-picture on NBC. It just doesn't work that way. The fact that I even have to say that with a straight face is ridiculous. There was too much commercials on Saturday. It's a television show. It's not a pay-per-view. Oh, man. Like, wrestling fans have the most stupidest things to complain about these days. Oh, there's too much commercials. Then don't watch the show. It's not that hard. Anyways, let's go back to the match. Good energy from Punk and Sammy against... I thought this was the right call to start off the show with this match. Punk still looks great. It looks like he has to skip a beat. I will say, like I was talking about on last week's podcast, I would wish we'd get more promos for Punk. I don't know why is it he only has to pop out for run-ins and after-birth brawls. Like, I want to hear from him. He's barely... He only cut one promo since WrestleMania, and it was like for 3 minutes before he got cut off by Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. Why are you muzzling CM Punk? It doesn't make sense to me. But this match went on. We had the return of Bronson Reed, and he put CM Punk through the ringside barricade. So here we go. Here was the... this doesn't make sense. Why would Bronson Reed align himself with Seth Rollins? Why would Seth Rollins trust Bronson Reed after he gave him 6 tsunamis? Do you guys forget the promo exchange where CM Punk was taking credit for Bronson Reed's injury in the War Games match? Are we supposed to forget that too? The enemy of my enemy is my friend? This is not rocket science, people. If you watch this show, your answers are right in front of you. It's not that difficult. So, Bronson Reed is now in the group with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. They had a really good opening segment on Raw this week. Heard something where on a podcast this week that said that Seth Rollins was chasing the hug. Chasing the hug? Well, what are you talking about? A heel pointing out a fact that the fans in the crowd are fickle and they were singing his theme song 5 minutes ago, and then they're booing him 5 minutes later. As a heel, you usually tell the truth. So how's he chasing the hug? Can you explain that to me, Dave LaGreca? Like, I don't know who's more sillier this week, the IWC or wrestling media members, because like we're grasping for straws to find things to whine about. Like, I get it, we're in the summertime and we need content to talk about on our podcasts and stuff like that, but I'm not going to come up with a random thing to bitch about that. A, it's not true, and B, it's just going to make me look stupid at the end of the day. Like, there's a great lesson that I've learned over the years in my life is that you need to decide the hills that you want to die on. Because unless you're going to provide some substance and context to whatever you're moaning about, and it's something to be justified about, it's better to just keep your mouth shut at the end of the day. We all can whine about the most minuscule things in life, but does it really matter at the end of the day? I pose that question to you guys. Bronson Reed coming back is dope. I like the group so far from what I've seen, so no harm, no foul there. Danny Priest and Drew McIntyre steel cage match is pretty good. I know Jesse Ventura had his qualms about Priest walking out of the cage door, but Jesse, follow the rules. You can leave through the cage door, you can leave from the top of the cage, you can do a pinfall or a submission in the ring. There's many ways to win a steel cage match. So, but I like that match with Priest and McIntyre. McIntyre's going to take some time off, and rightfully so. So, good stuff there. What else I wanted to mention? John Cena against Ron Cena. Very, very funny. Very, very entertaining. Ron Cena, guys. R-Truth's a national treasure. So he does John Cena's entire entrance, but as a good guy. So we have the flashy graphics on the screen as compared to the black and white thing that John Cena's coming out to now. Ron Cena's out. He comes out with the flashier babyface colors. He slides in the ring. He tells Stu, let's go to work. He slides in the ring. He throws his hat into the crowd. And the part of John Cena saw in a 3-second 10, and then he puts his hands up. And then the match goes on this is just some great entertainment stuff for John Cena and R-Truth. This manipulating the crowd, and John Cena had another moment of pause. Should I really do this? He's second guessing himself a lot right now, and I think obviously we'll get some more clarity through this before we get to SummerSlam. But from what I'm getting from after what I saw on Saturday night and what's been going on, I think that John Cena will probably, I think John Cena is losing the championship at SummerSlam. He's going to have a change of heart or something, and it's going to cost him the championship, and Cody will get the title back at SummerSlam, and it's going to make The Rock piss, obviously. And that's where the downfall for Cena starts from there. I know I'm mapping things out right now, but from where I'm seeing things and how things are going, and I know John Cena and Cody Rhodes are going to be on SmackDown tonight, which is going to be pretty cool. I think Cody Rhodes is getting the championship back at SummerSlam, and then John Cena's going to go back to being a babyface. I don't know how you guys feel about that. This is a pontification that I have off the top of my head. Sorry for any ruckus in the background. So we have John Cena and Cody Rhodes for SummerSlam Part 2 for the Undisputed Championship. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be pretty cool. This tag match is an in-between going into SummerSlam. LA, you got Logan Paul and John Cena to work good for the heel standpoint. John Cena, Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes as a tag team. They mesh well with each other. It's going to be pretty dope. I like how this is mapping out right now. I'm really curious to see the promo exchange tonight with Cody and John. And if we get Cody and John Cena too at SummerSlam, I do believe Cody's beating John Cena at that show. That's just my prediction from there. So that was Saturday night's main event. Briefly talk about NXT Battleground that took place on Sunday. Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruka. If you have not seen that match, go on your way to watch it. It was freaking dope. That was awesome. We had Obafemi against Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne had a really good showing in the match, but Obafemi is the ruler. Obafemi's going to be a big-time player, man. I'm not going to say Obafemi's going to be the next Brock Lesnar or anything like that, but Oba is the truth, man. The day we see Obafemi and Gunther, we're all going to rejoice, because that is going to be a lot of fun. The ruler. Even this promos, Obafemi's the man. Stephanie Van Curry and Jordynne Grace, fantastic match for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie retained. I'd be remiss without mentioning to send my congratulations out to JC Jane on becoming your brand new NXT Women's Champion. She defeated Stephanie on this week's edition of NXT following Battleground. Thanks to a lot of interference from Fatal Influence and also the ladies that Stephanie will be facing at Worlds Collide, Dalise and Jim Trementa. So it was a 4-on-1 attack on Stephanie, and she lost the championship. But that should not be taken away from the moment for JC Jane, who's deserved this moment for a very, very long time. Long overdue. I've said it here on the show. I've said it before that JC Jane is very underrated, and it's the thing about life, man. Life is interesting, and it's all about timing. And she's gone through a lot of different changes in NXT, and she, more than anybody in that roster, deserves that championship. So congratulations go out to JCJ. I've always been impressed with her work. Great to look at. Also good on the promos, and her matches are good. And I'm happy for her. It was a cool moment to see that on Tuesday. And then Joe Henry and Trick Williams. You know, I thought it was a good main event. Joe Henry, Trick Williams do the spin-a-rooney, and then he turns into Joe Henry, giving him a bookend, and everybody's like, oh, Booker T's gonna be pissed. Oh, Booker T gonna beat up Joe Henry. He's gonna give me that big dress kick. Booker T a bad man, yeah. Oh yeah, man. Oh my god. If you guys want something to laugh at, there's a video on YouTube where you see Booker T doing commentary on TNA, but he goes into the ring and starts beating up people, and he has the microphone and he's doing live commentaries. He's beating up people in the ring, and you see him beating up like a very young Xavier Woods. Oh, we got green. I'm gonna give him that big old dress kick. So he's playing this gimmick called Black Snow. Oh, Black Snow. Booker T the bad man. Oh, Booker T. He says some crazy stuff on TNA to his wife. He's like, I'm gonna butter you down like a biscuit. Oh, man. Alright, so that was Battleground. We talked about that. We had talked a little bit about Raw, SmackDown, Saturday night's main event. Before we get to the questions, I just want to briefly talk about the Worlds Collide show that's taking place before Money in the Bank during the day. This show will be streamed live on YouTube. So for not this Saturday, but next Saturday will be Worlds Collide. And I'll be covering both pay-per-views that day. So that's June 7th. This show is going to be at the Kia Forum. I'm sure this is going to make Meltzer happy because this is where AEW does a lot of their shows. But since we're here, I want to give you a little look into the matches that are already announced for the Worlds Collide show, and this is how we'll wrap up this week in WWE. We have the LWOs, Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde take on Octagon Jr., Aerostar. It's going to be fun to cover an Aerostar match. I haven't done that in a while since the Lucha Underground days. And Mr. Iguana in a 6-man tag. We have another tag match with Stephanie Van Keur and Lola Vice taking on Chick Tormenta and Dalis. This match was made official on NXT programming this week, which is Ethan Page putting his North American Championship on the line in a fatal 4-way match against Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix. That match is going to be insane. This other match too should be very interesting. We have Legado del Fantasma taking on El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Legado, and Psycho Clown. And then the main event is El Hijo del Vikingo putting his AAA Mega Championship on the line against Chad Gable. So that is Worlds Collide 2025 taking place at the fabulous Kia Forum in Los Angeles. This is during the day. This will be before Money in the Bank. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun show to transcribe, to say the least. Anyways, that is what happened this week in WWE. When we come back, we'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session right here on episode 467 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll be right back. Alright guys, one more segment to do here on the podcast this week. Time to answer your questions for the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the podcast at Hoots. By the way, I look at, you guys can't see me, there's no video with the podcast this week, but what I'm holding right now next to me is the Pages book. Soraya, Hell and Boots, clawing my way through 9 lives. guys haven't had a chance, go out of your way to support Paige. She's a wonderful person and a wonderful soul, and let's make her a New York Times bestseller. Go get Paige's book. It's called Hell and Hoots. Anyways, let's continue on here. Let's answer your questions as we do tradition here on the podcast. Throw up the X. Throw it up. Throw up the X for the good brother Chris Zelena at XZelena24X here on the Twitter machine. Let's see what he has for us this week. He says, "What up, Boost? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Favorite match for Battleground? It's going to be either Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan or Jordan Grace and Stephanie Becker. What do you think of what you were able to catch from Double or Nothing? 1, too long. 2, I don't need to ever see another Anarchy Arena match in my life. 3, John Moxley still sucks. 4, happy for Mercedes Moné and her and Tony Storm will have a good match and All In. What else? I mentioned earlier Okada Bailey was good. Heyman and Ospreay having good matches, like not some new revelation. So it was a good main event, but I'm not gonna. Oh my God, Heyman and Ospreay had an Omega Okada level match. I'm like, all right, settle down. It's not that deep. But all in all, Double or Nothing was fine. Nothing too much to write home about, but nothing too much where I'm like, oh, this is terrible. It was just our AEW pay-per-view. What do you think of the Worlds Collide card so far? I'm intrigued. There's going to be some bar burners on this show, like that 4-way for the North American Championship, the 6-man trios with Legado del Fantasma should be good. Obviously, Vikingo against Chad Gable is going to be awesome. It's going to be good. It's going to be a very, very good show. Thoughts on Bronson Reed joining Heyman and Company? A good choice. Like I said earlier in This Week in WWE, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's really that simple. Prediction for Santana and Trick next week. I think Trick Williams will retain over Mike Santana. Where does Joe Henry go after losing the TNA World Championship? That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not that tapped into the current TNA product to know who's on the roster that he can have a feud with. It's not just correlated with the TNA World Championship. I mean, he's already feuded with Nick Nemeth. Like, I don't know. I hate using that as an answer, Chris, but I don't know. I don't get to cover TNA anymore, so I don't get the chance to watch your product in depth, so I have no idea. Who needs a publicist more? Bill Belichick or Will Ospreay? That's Will Ospreay. That's not even close. Need to hear your thoughts on the recent WWE AEW head-to-head schedule pay-per-views. I don't have an opinion. Like, this whole stuff about counter programming is just so silly to me. Like, it's fucking business. Get over it. Like, if your wrestling's that elite and you're gonna call yourself All Elite Wrestling and AEW's for the best wrestle, put on the better show. It's that simple. Like, I might use that as the title of this week's episode because it really is. It's that simple. Like, there's just so many things about wrestling that people tie themselves in knots, like, mentally, and it's like the answer is right in front of you. It's literally that simple. I don't have a problem with it. Like, if you're gonna call yourself All Elite Wrestling and you think this is for the best wrestle, put on the better show and prove it. It's not that hard. Your thoughts on Jason J's win to close the show? Loved it. Loved every moment of it. I loved the shock factor, the fact that it came out of nowhere. It was unpredictable. Right person to win, honestly, and I'm very, very happy for her. Which should main event All In your opinion? Heyman versus Mox or Mercedes versus Tony? I'm going to go with Mercedes against Tony because, unfortunately, I don't think Hangman's going to beat John Moxley at All In, and that's a real shame, to be honest with you. last one here from Chris. He had a lot of good questions this week, as always. With Vancouver and Grace rumored to be heading to the main roster, who elevates the main event scene for the women's division in NXT now? You got Kalani, you got Jada Parker, you got Carmen Petrovich still out there. Zarya can still be a big time player, especially for the main title. You got Lola Vice. Like they're not struggling with women on that side of the universe. So we'll just say that they're not struggling for female talent on that space. Thank you, Chris, for the questions this week. As always, I appreciate you. Here's the question for the good brother Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve. Make sure to follow Mike there on Twitter. What up, Moose? Here's your question for the Back Porch this week. What is your favorite military-related movie or TV show? I always forget the name of the movie, but the one about Private Pile. Like, what's your major malfunction? That's my personal favorite one. How do you tend to spend your Memorial Day holiday? I'm usually with like my mom's side of the family if I were to celebrate Memorial Day. But more times than not, I'm maybe by myself because I got to work that night. So like I don't get Memorial Day off. Like I had to cover every Monday Night Raw for Memorial Day. I've been doing that since 2014. So Memorial Day, yes, I guess it's a holiday, but like during the day I'll hang out with my family, but I have work to do. So, speaking of spending, how do you think the Bears and Seth Rollins got that draft pick announcement put together? I saw the team video, but is there a backstory to that? No, Seth Rollins has always been a big fan of the Chicago Bears, and it was just there. I think, if anything, there's more of a backstory where Seth wants to do more work outside of wrestling where he's involved in the sports media. So if anything, I think you probably would give credit to like Rich Eisen for that because I think Steph and Rich struck a chord with each other in a friendship, and I think that Rich wants to help Seth get like implemented into the sports media world. So that was his opportunity to come on there, troll Green Bay. It was fantastic, and it was really good. Also, do you see Seth winning Money in the Bank as part of his growing faction influence, maybe through some interference? Yeah. I think right now with Money in the Bank, we're either going to get LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, or Seth Rollins will win. Obviously, it would make a lot more sense if Seth Rollins would win, to be honest with you, talk about power and control. And this hasn't been talked about enough. CM Punk won 2 Money in the Bank briefcases. If Seth Rollins gets his second one, that's another notch to the rivalry between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. So, yeah, I could see that for sure. With JC Jane winning the NXT Women's title, has there been more of a surprise to win the title in the first half of the year? From what I recall, no, maybe if you want to say it's Lena Vega beating Chelsea Green. But as far as from what I can recall, as far as title changes that I've seen so far this year, yeah, this is probably the most surprising one. Who takes the title from JC next, and did you envision anyone else winning over Stephanie Vancouver if the roster move was being made now? I'm probably going to say either like a Lola Vice or Jada Parker or who knows, maybe Fallon Henley takes the title off of JC now that she has the championship. I mean, the options are endless, like I told Chris. Like, it's not just one. I don't think NXT is going to be lacking in the women's division. Let's just say that, all right? Like, you had the performers involved, like Kendall Gray, who's hot and really good in the ring. Zeta Steele, same thing. Kelly Armstrong, she has the swag and charisma attached to her. Like, you have some really good performers on here. So, there's plenty of options. That's the best way to answer that question. What do you think of Bertie saying he didn't expect Vancouver to be the women's breakout star? He thought it would be Julia or Zarya. He he's not wrong. I mean, if you look at the airport test that he likes to talk about and stuff like that, you can understand where he's coming from. So she was pleasantly surprised, and he ended up being one of her biggest fans. What have you thought of Stardust's run so far since joining NXT? I'm enjoying it. I'm ready for the heel turn, for her to turn on Sol Ruka. Her and Sol Ruka will have a very good rivalry to try to win matches. So I'm going to say that it's been good so far, but I am anticipating the heel turn that it's bubbling under the surface. I think Zarya's going to turn on Sol Ruka sooner than later. Tony Khan said that he sees the WWE doing a lot of counter-programming against AEW, but that he won't be the next Jim Crockett Promotions in that way. Is he underestimating WWE? Of course he is, but at the end of the day, what is Tony Khan's end game at the end of the day? Is it making money or getting Booker of the Year awards from Meltzer? Like, this is the question here. Like I said earlier when it came to the counter-programming question, if you're that serious and you guys think that your wrestling's on such a higher pedestal, this is AEW, this is where the best wrestle, prove it. Put on the better show. Are the ads that bad during Saturday night's main event in Raw? I see a lot of complaining online, even from people who tend to like the shows. Are the ads getting out of hand? No, this is business. Like, these television shows weekly are plot points to get you to the next PLE. Like, even then, yeah, you could have commercial breaks or a pay-per-view, but this is business, guys. There's a reason why these shows are on TV in the first place. What would you like to see in the newly announced Evolution pay-per-view? Mike, I'll direct you back to the beginning of the show where I gave you my card for Evolution 2. How about this one? Have you gotten yourself a legendary wrestling shirt and now a top seller at WWE Shop, the Ron Cena shirt? No, I want to. How surprised were you at Drew's shirt on Saturday? I wasn't surprised. It was just hilarious, man. The guy's a national treasure. He's awesome. What do you think about Alexa Bliss showing off some punch in her promo with Tiffany and Charlotte? I can't remember doing that before. She can always hold her own on the microphone. I will say this, and I might get heat for this, but I don't care. Alexa, in a lot of ways, from that 4 horsewomen era, it's been, when you want to describe the total package, it's as far as in-ring work, character, promos, etc. She's up there with Charlotte and Becky and Sasha. I think Alexa's a better promo than Mercedes Moné. I'm just gonna say it. Alexa smokes Sasha on the microphone any day of the week. Do you think Selena's 609 that broke Chelsea Green's nose may cost her in some way even while being champion? I hope not, but that was a rough one to watch, especially with a broader NBC audience. Well, if we're gonna allow a botch on NBC decide title changes, then she shouldn't have gotten the championship in the first place. I'm not gonna sit here and bury Zelina Vega for a mistake. I've never been in the ring. Anybody can come on here with a podcast and shit on her for making a mistake on that 619. It's easy to talk that talk without actually putting your money where your mouth is. So I'm not gonna let a little mistake like that be the reason why she has to lose a championship now. I just don't see it that way. Let's say the end of 2025 is the timeline. Who ends up rising above others in the new faction? Seth Rollins, Brock Breaker, or Bronson Reed? I'm going to say Brock Breaker out of the three, if I have to be honest. This could fluctuate. This is the great thing about wrestling. Nothing's linear, so things can change from now to the end of the year. But from my seat, I can probably see Brock Breaker being the one rising up to breaks the most. Last question. He says, Miss CEO says now that she's working on her legacy in AEW. What is that legacy exactly to you beyond the Iron Women match at TakeOver Brooklyn? That she's a malcontent. She's one of those performers who thinks that her stock fades if she ever loses a match. Her booking, the fact that she has created input in AEW is the least shocking thing on God's green earth. And she's all about herself. And I get it, the wrestling business is a selfish business, but you guys want to talk about Becky Hogan? What the hell is Mercedes Moné then? Well, that's it for now. I appreciate the honesty and for going strong in this podcast for all this time. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I want to give a big shout out to Chris and Mike, as always, for participating in this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or Joshie Lopez Music. Also, Joshie Lopez Music on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts from. That's the best way to support the show now. Now we're on Odyssey, so you can listen to the podcast and share with your friends as much as you want. Make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so that would really help us out a lot on that end. So to become a YouTube partner, we need 1,000 subscribers, basically. So that would help yours truly out a lot. Also, make sure to check out my work at WrestlingHeadlines.com in the results section. I covered all the shows for WWE Weekly, televised and PLE, so check out my work on WrestlingHeadlines.com and ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And on that note, don't forget, folks, meet the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 467 of the Hoots Podcast. It's a road to episode 500 continues. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to y'all next week for our Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide previews. No! We'll talk to y'all next week. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.